please stand up and we need to pray. Amen. And the topic that we have today is all about the quadratic equation. So, we have an activity today that we know if you have a prior knowledge in the topic today. The activity is activity. The instruction is identify which of the following quadratic equation are quadratic and which are not. If the equation is quadratic, write fact, and if not, write bluff. So, please get 1/2 sheet of paper and answer for 10 minutes. Who can answer for number 1? Okay. What is your answer? Bluff. Very good. Bluff. The answer for number 1 is bluff. For number 2, very good. Fact. For number 3, yes, correct. Bluff because wala siyang exponent na 2. And next, number 4. Yes, fact. Very good. Dahil meron siyang exponent. Okay, for number 5. Yes, fact. Very good. For number 8. For number 6. Fact. 7. Fact. Number 8. Yes. Fact. For number 10. Or for number 9. For number 9 is fact. And for number 10 is bluff. Okay. Okay. So we need to discuss the topic for today, the quadratic equation. So, the topic for today is quadratic equation. So, okay, quadratic equation. Quadratic is a polynomial with highest exponent of 2. So, yung ating activity na ginawa, di ba, yung mga equation na meron exponent na 2, sila yung fact, kaya yung answer nyo fact, kaya dahil sila ay quadratic equation. So, ax squared plus bx plus c is the form of quadratic equation. So, the coefficient of x squared called the leading coefficient. So, ang tawag dito sa x squared is leading coefficient. Yan, leading coefficient to ang tawag dito. What is the standard form of quadratic equation? Ano nga ba ang quadratic form of standard form of quadratic equation rather? So, the standard form of quadratic equation is answer. Yes, very good. Ax squared plus bx plus c is the standard form of quadratic equation. So, the quadratic is on the left. So, ito yung quadratic, ang ax squared plus bx plus c. Ang 0 nasa right side. Ito siya. For example, of the roots of this quadratic is x squared plus 2x minus 8. So, example siya sa quadratic equation. There are the solution. Ito naman ang solution niya is the x squared plus 2x minus 8 equals to 0. To find the roots, we can factor that quadratic as ganito. Mag-factor natin siya sa ng ganito. X plus 4, x minus 2, and x equals to 4 or x equals to negative 2. Di ba? Dito positive and dito is negative ang x. How many roots quadratic? Ang roots of quadratic is how many roots? How many roots are? We have a quadratic. So, the quadratic, we have always two roots because a quadratic with a leading coefficient first at least can be always be factored as ax, the quantity of x plus a and the quantity of x plus b, and a, b are the two roots. So, ang a at b siya yung two roots. In other words, with the leading coefficient is 1, the roots has the opposite sign of the numbers in factored. So if the quantity of x plus q quantity is a factor, then the q is negative q. If the root, so pag negative yung factor na isa at kailangan hanapin natin yung factor, then the factor can be either negative or positive. So the x is negative q plus plus q equals to 0. So, what do you mean by the roots of a quadratic? So, what do you mean? What do you mean about the roots of quadratic? A solution that quadratic equation. So, the meaning of the roots of quadratics is the solution of quadratic equation. Ito yung solution niya, yung x squared plus 2x minus 0 equals to 0, rather. Yan ang solution niya. Ang minsang two roots. Ang makuha ang two roots. Example, ang two roots dito natin ay, for example, di ba dito? meron tayo ng x plus 4 and x minus 2. Ito yung roots. Siya yung roots ito. Ito yung roots. Ito roots. Pag when we rewrite in quadratic solution, masusulat natin siya like this. First, we need to multiply the first and first. So, meron siyang x squared, first and last. 2x for x and -8. So, i-simplify natin. Simplify. So, x squared minus plus 2x minus 8. Ito na yung ating quadratic solution, the quadratic equation. Ito siya. Quadratic equation. What do you mean by a roots of what do we mean by our double roots? So, pag sinabing double roots ay the two roots are equal. So, pag sinabi natin double roots, the two roots are equal, and the factor will be x minus a and x minus a. So that way the roots are a. For example, ganito. x squared minus 36. So when we factor that the quantity of x squared minus 36 is the perfect square of siya sang two roots na magkapareho, x plus magkapareho siya, x minus minus 6 and x minus 6. So, yung factor niya ay the same. Diba? The same sila factor. So, ito yung double roots na tinatawag natin. Double roots. Double roots. So, ito ang double roots na tinatawag natin. Ito yung example nga. Ito yung example ng, for example, this is quadratic. For example, x squared minus 2x plus 36 can be factored as 6 minus so, ma-factor natin siya sa x minus 6 and x minus 6. So, yan ang double roots. Ganito rin. Pwede ganito ang equation at pwede rin ganito na equation. Mag-factor natin siya ng x minus 6 and x minus 6. If a quadratic can be factored as x plus 3 and x minus 1, then what are the two roots? What is the two roots? So, to see the answer, di ba, makikita natin yung factor ng x plus 3 and x minus 1 is, ang x natin is positive 3 and another x is negative 1. Yan ang factor natin. So, para makuha natin yung standard form nito, we need to multiply lang ang x plus 3 x minus 1. So, pag minultiply natin, may gagamitin tayong methods. Itong methods na to ay tinatawag na FOIL methods. The FOIL methods are FOIL method. So, FOIL method is first to first and first and outer. First to outer, out FOIL method. First to first, first and last, or first and outer, and inner to inner, and inner and outer, or last to last na tinatawag. So, ito na yung standard form natin. So, what is the possible that then, what is the possible that the product of two factors are EB equals to 0. So, the possible product is the possible product natin either E equals to 0 or B equals to 0. Yan ang magiging possible product natin or magiging possible product of two factors. Magiging ang E magiging 0 or B magiging 0. To find the roots of each quadratic by factoring. So, hanapin natin yung factor ng x squared minus 3x plus 2. The factor of that is the factor of x squared minus 3x plus 2 is x minus 1, the quantity of x minus 1, and the quantity of x minus 2. So, ang x niya ay magiging 1, and the another x is 2. So, we need to factor the letter b. The factor of b is x plus 3 and the quantity of x plus 4. So the factor is, the x is equals to 3 or 4. So, ito yung quadratic equation. The another continuation is, the continuation of this is quadratic equation pa rin. Yung how to find the E, or how to find the A, B, and C in a quadratic equation. So, first is illustrating a quadratic equation in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. So, a quadratic equation is in a one variable is a mathematical sentence in the second degree with power which is written in standard form of ax squared plus bc equals to 0, where a and b are the real numbers where E and B and C are real numbers and ang E is not equals to 0. Example, letter A, 4x squared minus x plus 5 equals to 0. So, diba? So, quadratic equation is the one variables. And a mathematical sentence in the second degree power which is written in standard form of x squared and where are E and B are the real numbers. So, pag sinabi nating quadratic equation, meron siyang power of second degree power. Ito siya, ang first, ang letter A natin. Meron siyang second degree power and bx and c equals to 0. Yan ang quadratic equation in the form. Ito siya, ang form sa quadratic equation. Pag sinulat natin ang standard form ng quadratic equation. So, 4x squared minus x plus 5 equals to 0. The variable x has the highest degree exponent of 2. Diba? Si variable x natin, meron siya exponent na 2. So, yan. Ito yung letter E natin. Yung letter E natin na mayroong exponent na 2. Highest second degree. Meron siyang, ang quadratic equation, meron siyang highest degree power of 2. The next is, so, 2m and the quantity of 3m minus 1 plus 3 equals to 4m plus 5. So, para makuha natin yung exponent nito, the standard form nito, we need to, first is, we need to simplify and express into standard form. Ito yon, standard form niya. We need to distribute property of multiplication. So, para makuha natin ito, gamitin muna natin ang distributive property of multiplication. So, si 2m squared, si 2m, si 1, multiply natin. Ito na yung simplify natin. So, yan na. Simplify natin si 2m times 3m equals to x. 6m squared, 2m minus times negative 1 is 2 equals to negative 2m plus 3m plus minus of ito transpose natin yung negative positive m plus 5 pa paloob. So mag-change tayo ng sign. Ang magiging sign ng nito magiging pag i-transpose natin siya magiging negative na. Magiging negative 4m. Pag i-transpose natin pa paloob. So, magiging negative 4m and negative 5. So, para ma-cancel out natin yung 4m dito at plus 5 dito, mag-add tayo ng negative 4m and negative 5. So, magiging cancel out na yan. Mawawala na lahat dito. Magiging 0. So, pagkatapos niyan, simplify natin siya as additional property. Gagamitin natin siya. I-add natin yung mga variables. I-add natin para makuha na natin yung standard form niya. Ito ang x squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. Makakuha na natin ng kanyang ito na, nakuha na natin yung standard form niya. X, 6m squared minus 6m minus 2. So, diba? Makikita na naman natin yung 2m plus negative 2m plus negative 2m equals to negative 6m. So, si positive 3 and negative 3 equals to negative 2. So, reduce the equation by 2. So, i-reduce natin siya sa pamagitan ng 2. I-divide natin siya sa 2 para maging mababa yung numbers. So, x 6m reduced to 2. Pag i-reduce natin siya sa 2, magiging 3m na lang siya. 3m squared minus 3m minus 1. So, pag sinulat natin siya so the m is So dito, pag kinuha na natin yung m, ang m niya is the variable m has the highest exponent of 2. Di ba? Ang m natin meron siyang exponent na 2. Di ba? Bago natin nakuha yan, ang unang step natin muna ay simplify and express into x squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. So, ang una natin, yung first step natin na ginawa is using distributive property of multiplication. So, minultiply muna natin bago natin siya nakuha yung yung 6m squared minus 2m plus 3 minus negative 4 and negative 5. Then, add naman tayo sa labas ng negative 4m and negative 5 para magiging 0 itong sa labas. So, pagkatapos nito, ginamit natin yung addition property of equation para masimplify na yung answer natin. So, the answer is x 6m squared minus x 6m minus 2 equals to 0. So, para mas mapababa natin yung the standard form, the form of this variable na ni-reduce natin siya by 2. So magiging pag lahat ng numbers is divisible by one number example, itong number na to ay divisible siya sa 2. Kaya ni-reduce natin siya para maging mababa yung maging numbers natin. Nagiging 3m na lang siya. 3. Di ba? Ni-reduce natin siya sa 2 dividing by 2. Kaya ang m natin, ang 3m, ang a natin is meron siyang equivalent number, ang letter A natin dito, meron siyang 3m squared. Ang B, meron siyang 3m. Ang C, meron siyang 1. So, the variable m has the highest exponent of 2. Then next is identifying quadratic term, linear term, and consonant in a quadratic equation. Dito na natin yung isi-simplify yung si A, si B, and si C. So, ang A ay tinatawag natin quadratic term. Ito siya, ang A is a quadratic term. So, si A is a quadratic term ni siya. Si ax squared is a QT, quadratic term. Si BX naman ay ang BX natin dito ay LT or linear term. So, ang C natin dito ay consonant. Constant ang C natin dito. Ito na. Okay. In the quadratic equation, ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. So, dito nga, ang ax squared natin is the quadratic term. So, ang bx natin is a linear term. And c is the consonant, constant. So, constant yung letter C natin. Ito. Ang tawag dito is constant. Constant siya. For example, the example is In a quadratic equation, quadratic equation, x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals to 0. So, ito yung quadratic equation natin. Ito siya. Quadratic equation natin. So, ito, quadratic equation natin. So, di ba, yung x squared natin is quadratic term. So, pag sinulat natin siya, x squared is the quadratic term. Ito yung x squared natin. Ito. Siya yung quadratic term natin. Ito siya, x squared. And ang 2x natin naman, ay ang tawag dito is the linear term. Ang 2x natin, ang tawag dito is linear term. And the one is called constant. Dito, ang tawag natin dito sa 1 is constant. In the quadratic equation, 3x squared minus negative 2x minus 3 equals to 0. 3x squared is the quadratic term. So, ito na, another example naman. So, di ba? Ang 3x natin is the letter, yung quadratic term. Ito, 3x natin. Quadratic term siya. Ang bx natin ay 2x. Siya yung linear term. Ang 3 is the constant. So, 3x squared is the quadratic term. Yun na nga, sabi ko. Ang 3x squared natin is the quadratic term. And ang 2x natin is the linear term. And ang negative 3 is the constant. So, 2x squared, 2x and the quantity of x plus 5 equals to 10x minus 3. So, bago natin yan makuha ang x squared, bx, and c na standard, ito siya, mga value nila, bago natin sila makuha pag ganitong equation, we need to simplify first. So, we need to do is to multiplying. So, yung ginawa natin una, multiply natin distributive property of multiplication, and then addition property. Dito na, sinimplify na natin by addition. So, magiging answer natin dito is, pag sinimplify natin is magiging answer natin is 2x squared plus 3 equals to 0. So, express natin siya to x squared by x, bx, and c. Isi-simplify natin siya by quadratic term, linear term, and constant in a quadratic equation. So, ang magiging magiging quadratic term natin dito ay magiging 2x squared na lang. So, yung 2x squared natin is the quadratic term. Ito, quadratic term. So, dahil wala tayong bx or the linear term, di ba? Wala naman ditong bx o dalawang equation lang nandito. So, wala na tayong bx, ang linear term. So, ilagay na lang natin 0. Dahil wala naman siyang variables dito. So, magiging 0 ang linear term natin. And, ang constant natin is 3. So, yeah. Ito yung paraan kung paano natin ma-identify yung quadratic term, linear term, and constant. And then next is determining the coefficients in E and B and E, B, and C of every term in quadratic equation, no? Dito na natin i-simplify yung kung saan yung E, kung saan yung B at ang C. Yun na ang ginawa natin dito. Simplify na natin yung si quadratic term, si linear term, at si constant. So, a quadratic equation in one variable is the mathematical sentence of degree of 2. So, pag sinabi natin quadratic term, meron siyang degree na ugos siya sa degree na 2. Ito siya, meron siyang degree na 2 ang quadratic term natin. That can be written into following standard form. Ganito. Isulat natin siya to into standard form. Example nito is ganito ang standard form niya. So, you see the standard form. So, ito nga ang standard form niya. Di ba? Diniscuss natin yan sa nung una, ito yung standard form niya. Oh, dito natin makita yung A, B, and C. Ito yung letter A natin, letter B, and C. Ito yung quadratic term, linear term, and constant. So, where E, B, and C are real numbers, and ang E natin is not equal to 0. Hindi siya magiging equal to 0. Dahil meron siyang palaging, dahil dito, hindi, pag ang E natin is 0, hindi na yan quadratic equation. Ang tawag na dyan ay linear form. Dahil ang quadratic equation ay mayroong highest degree na 2. For example, 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 equals to 0. So, ito yung naka-standard form na siya. Is a quadratic equation with, so, ang quadratic equation niya is, ang A niya is 2, ang B niya is 5, and C niya is negative 3. Ang A is the quadratic term. So, ang quadratic term niya is 2. Ang linear term dito naman is 5. And the constant is negative 3. Ang pwede lang magiging 0, ay ang B and C can be have a values of 0. So, ang A at B lang ang pwedeng may values na 0. Hindi pwede ang A na magiging 0 dahil hindi na yon quadratic equation. So class, do you understand the topic that we tackled today? So, any question or clarification about the topic? So, when there is no question, we give activity. I give activity. The activity is, the direction is identify the values of A, B, and C of each quadratic equation in the in the form of x squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. Dito sa 1 to 5, i-identify nyo lang ang quadratic equation, linear equation, and constant. Dito sa 1 to 6, hanapin nyo muna ang standard form nito. Isulat nyo sa standard form niya, hanapin nyo ang standard form, tapos ganun din. Hanapin nyo yung quadratic term, linear term, and constant. So, that's all for today. That's the end of our discussion.